Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Juan Cristales here, man. Let me update you on day number four of this ground up duplex that we're doing. Now, if you've never built anything before, I want to put your mind at ease that this stuff is easy to understand. We're doing a single story duplex. It's not that complicated. Some of the things that I'm going to share with you might be new to you, but it's just part of the process. And the more times I repeat this, the more times you listen to this, the more it'll become second nature to you as well, especially once you do your own duplex. So today we're going to be talking about the sheathing inspection. There's basically shear forces, which means that something is going to be pulling in opposite directions, right? That's going to be pushing. So high winds and that kind of stuff, especially here in Texas, we have to have an inspection for that. Now, part of that inspection is going to be this here for the anchor bolts. Now, we have a box here of hurricane straps, and I'm going to show you that here in a second. And then, of course, we have the strap here, the Simpson strong tie straps. So basically, we have joist hangers as well. That's part of this inspection. All we're doing, and this is not something that you particularly need to know. The framers already know this stuff, especially the guys that have been doing this business for a long time. They completely understand this stuff, but I'm just sharing it with you so that you get a good idea as a point of reference when it comes to, your new construction ground up. I didn't know this stuff. And so whenever I built it, I was just telling the guys, hey, we have to pass an inspection. And then the inspector on the back end would kind of tell me, hey, this is where it failed, or this is what's good, whatever the case is. But let me show you why this is important. Okay, so here we have a copy of the stamped plans. You see the red there where it's stamped by the city. This is for 401 MLK. This is the corner lot that we're talking about right now. And I'm going to go over here to a spot where it talks about sheathing and the wall design. Let me find it here in a quick second. So if we look here on the fastener schedule, this is, again, this is information that is extra stuff, but you don't necessarily have to need to know this stuff, but the framers are going to know this information here, which is going to be notes of the tables about the specific type of nails, the staples. If we use staples for any of the stuff that needs to be done, they need to be at least 16 gauge wire and have a minimum of 7/16 inch on diameter crown width. That's just it's a specific type of staple. We're not using staples for this particular project, but if we were to use them, that's what they're asking for here. Nails should be spaced at no more than 6 inches on center at all supports where spans are 48 inches or greater. So that's part of the sheathing inspection. 4 by 8 foot or 4 by 9 foot panels shall be applied vertically. Let me show you where that applies here. So you can see right here at the entrance that these 4 by 8 sheets of plywood, this OSB half-inch plywood, is standing up, and that's what that means, okay? And these guys already know to do that, and that's just part of the game. That's just how they do it, right? So, anyways, that's just where you can find details about all this stuff if you really want to get yourself more educated on it about what to expect and inspect. The beauty of doing this inside of the city limits is that if you don't have any idea what you're doing, you're going to get a inspector, a city inspector who has been doing new construction for 30, 40, maybe even 50 years. I don't know. Some of these guys are very, very old. They have a lot of experience and they're very well versed in what the current codes require. And so what's going to happen is that they're going to be able to quickly tell you what the issues may or may not be. Now, these guys are framers. The guy that we've been using as a framer has been doing it for about 20 years. And so he's very familiar with all this stuff and how all this stuff goes and how it's all put together. So he has all the depth of experience. To him, it's secondhand knowledge. To you, because you're starting out, it feels like so overwhelming and kind of daunting to do all this stuff, but it really shouldn't be, because he knows that he has to do these hurricane straps, one on, one off, one on. He knows about this stuff. He knows about the nail schedule needs to be every 6 inches on center, right? He knows about all that stuff. So long story short is that, the stuff that I'm trying to show you and teach you is just extra information, but don't take it to be like so overwhelming to the point where it just freezes you from wanting to do your own ground up construction. So now check this out. This is kind of hilarious. I had to take a picture of it for you guys because this is a makeshift ladder. Believe it or not, this is just a makeshift ladder so the guys can get up there. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I've seen some crazier stuff than this. But anyways, we're getting this project done. We're on day number 4. These guys are moving very, very briskly. By now, we have gone ahead and distributed some of the money for the labor because they've been going, on day number 4. and today is a long weekend, so these guys are going to want some money. One of the other things that we're still pending, we have the elongation inspection. Okay, so the engineering company that does our stuff sends somebody out to test to ensure that these have been tensioned to the right correct amounts. The cable company does the tensioning. The engineer company does the testing to see if it's done to the correct specifications. Then they give me a report or give you a report. They'll charge you approximately $200 for that report, and says that the foundation's cables have been done to the specifications of what the engineer's foundation was required. Do you need to know anything about that? No, you don't, because the cable company already does that, or the company that provides the cables, they already know how to do that, and then the engineer knows what to inspect for. If you really want to get into the details of it, you can call the engineer up and say, hey man, can you explain this to me? How does this work? You can call the cable company or be there when the cable company goes out, does the tensioning, and ask them questions to kind of help better your knowledge base of what this stuff is all about. But as far as you needing to know like how much tension it needs to be on each one, I mean, that's why we do stuff inside the city limits. Now, I used to be intimidated by the city, intimidated by the permits and all that stuff because I didn't know about the inspections, but really the inspectors are like the referees in a football game. They're just making sure that things are being played correctly. The guys and the people that work for us, or they're going to be the contractors on these projects, they all have a lot of experience working with the city. What you're doing, what your job is to do, is to organize the funding and organize the master plan, okay, the blueprint, all that stuff. That's all you have to do. You're the brains behind the entire operation. You don't need to know all the very specific detail stuff. Like even these electric rods. You see these electric rods right here? These need to be put in before the concrete gets put in because, they have to be grounded to the actual flooring here, to the dirt for the electric panels. So anyway, let's move on. So the last thing I wanted to show you guys is this. This is crazy. I'm going to tell you a quick story because I was, it just reminded me of when I was a little kid in El Salvador. Now, in El Salvador, we used to live in a house that had, dirt floors. We had an outhouse, and we had a tin roof, essentially. And, we just came from really very humble beginnings. So in the summertime, it would get so hot. I mean, it would rain and rain and rain. And, the rain would cool everything off, which is kind of nice. But the problem was that we had these cockroaches, and these cockroaches would crawl up on the ceiling of the tin roof, right? They would crawl up. And because of the difference in temperature, right? You have this cold rain coming in on top. You got this heat inside the house because of all the people and the bodies inside of it. And so it would create condensation on the ceiling of the inside of our little house or whatever, right? And so the problem was that these cockroaches would lose their footing. And I'm asleep in bed. I'm probably like 5 years old. I still remember this. It's crazy. I can never get this memory out of my mind. And these cockroaches would land on my bare chest because I was sleeping without a shirt. It was so hot. And these cockroaches would land on my bare chest, and they would flutter. They flutter whenever they're falling because they would lose their footing because of the condensation. They would just come down and land on my chest, and I'd freak out. I'd panic and try to get these cockroaches off of my chest. It always freaked me out, man. So anyways, we're at one of the other properties here on Runnels Street, and we are opening up to try to figure out where exactly are the direction of the pipes are going so that we can connect for our side. So you can see in here, there's a white pipe. There's a white PVC pipe that services that house over there. And then you can see that the rest of the sewer goes this way and this way. But anyways, that's what we were looking for. But the guys had to open this thing up, and I was over there, and I was had to like, oh my God, look at those cockroaches. Blah. Ugh. Takes me back, man. Takes me back. Absolutely disgusting. I don't know why, man. I'm not. I'm just absolutely disgusted by cockroaches. To this day, I don't know why. They just gross me out. All right, guys, that's all I got for you today. Thanks so much for watching. I will talk to you soon.